Hey, everybody, what's going on? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. And we're so happy to be here once again with all of you guys for week 3 of NFL fantasy football action talk. It's been an interesting 2 weeks already into the season, and things are heating up in both of our respective leagues here that Pablo and I are both in. Well, first off, I want to say good morning, Mr. Pablo Martinez. How are you? I know you were up late last night. You
Good
were
morning.
concerting with the kids.
Yes, yeah, out late last night, but ready for week three. Super, super pumped. Tons of great stuff happened last week. I was out a little bit late, so apologies ahead of time for a little bit of a raspy voice here. Went to see the a little spoiler here since in the Dirt League, my team name is Uruguay. Went to see an awesome band from Uruguay last night. No Te Va Gustar is the name of the band.
All right,
Fantastic, fantastic show for their 30th year anniversary. Great stuff. But we're
that's
here
awesome.
now, so I'm pumped. I'm like I got all these songs in my head. They're gonna be
Yeah.
seeping into my fantasy lineups. I'm gonna find connections here because through these songs that I heard, I kind of have an idea of which players I need to start this week.
All right, good. Yeah, I've been and actually I was away all week. I was a little checked out for the most part. I was away. My wife and I we went to Mystic, Connecticut for the week, and it was great. We had a great time, but I was a little checked out on fantasy stuff, and then I even forgot, like, oh my gosh, the Jets are on. We had a Thursday night game, and you're like, oh, I better check. And of course, um, when we go through the lineup, but I left. I had Tyler Conklin on the bench, and he wound up
Oh,
getting, over in the
big
one
day.
league over 14. I'm like, oh my god, I left points on the back. I can't nothing more. And of course, I'm like, of course the guy's gonna go off tonight because he's on my bench. It's the curse of fantasy football, man.
It happens, man. It happens. Don't worry. I'm glad you had a good time. Mystic is amazing,
Yeah,
but
Mystic was great.
yeah, football doesn't stop. Football doesn't take a day off. So yeah, we did have a Thursday game. It was it was an interesting game to watch. We saw Aaron Rodgers back the way Aaron Rodgers was used to showing off,
Yeah.
and he looked good. The team looked pretty decent. The Jets definitely came out strong. The Patriots were not really contenders that day, but we'll talk more about it as we go through the lineups.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go through it. And before we dive into it, I don't know if you have it or not, and it's fine if you don't. But do you have our records from last week as far as our picks and sort of who did what? Because I did not. I kind of after we got off the air on last week, I was like, all right, and then I didn't track it at all.
I did. I have it written
Okay.
down. I actually went back and looked to see how many hits and misses we had. I did also look back at week one, even though we didn't go over it on our show because I didn't have it at the time. But for last week, you and I were deadlocked with all 6 picks in our LOEMP league. So we
Okay.
ended up hitting on 4 of those 6 picks that we made.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the dirt league goes, we had a series of different picks there. I somehow got lucky and went 6 for 6. And in that league, I think you had a few that you didn't exactly hit on, maybe like 3,
Okay.
something like that.
All right.
So
Hey, you know what? It happens. Can't all be winners.
no, of course, and they'll never all be winners. Yes, exactly. That was like one of those things like Manja Magic's last season. That's irrepeatable. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, never gonna happen again. Well, maybe not. We don't know. We'll see. All
So,
right.
all
Well,
right,
as we go here, guys, of course, as always, feel free to chat with us, smack talk, whatever. And if you're in the league, if you're in one of our 2 leagues and would like to actually jump on the show, um, DM us, DM me, and I'll send you the link if you wanna jump on it and pop in and be a little bit of be a guest on Touchdown Talk. Let us know. Open to league members only though, because we don't want it to
please
become a
do.
yeah. Kevin Baglio is saying never say never. Look at that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. We'd love to
Coming
have
up with some
everybody
wise
on.
wise words. All right, so let's do it, man. Let's get into our leagues here. Where do you want to start? Which league you want to start with today?
Let's go with the LOEMP league first.
Alrighty, LOEMP League coming right up. Here we go. Looking at it. Do you want to? Is there a game that you want to zero in on first, or do you want to just do our typical from top to bottom?
Hmm. We can do top to bottom. We could maybe just take a peek at the standings here. We got
Oh,
three
yep.
teams.
Okay.
It's a pretty well balanced
Yeah.
standings there. We got three teams on top, undefeated. Three teams at the bottom that haven't gotten a win yet, and then the rest are just in the middle, in the hunt. And
Yep.
yeah, uh, things are looking good in this league.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, listen, it's only been we're in week 3, so plenty of room for any of these bottom teams, the 10 through 12 teams, to get a win today. Looking at the name is Dalton, Manja Magic. It takes two at a tango. So listen, 0-2 is still there's still plenty of time to climb out of the basement here, and lots
Tons of
going on,
time.
tons of
Tons of
time.
time. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Kevin says, never say never. So when we all saw
Never.
what happened last year, Manja Magic went on that run. So anything is possible.
For sure. And
All right.
even if you get it off to a bad start like that,
Yeah.
listen, pickups off of the waiver wire and trades are
Mhm.
the key to success.
Yes. Yes. And so far, I don't think there been any trades in the league yet. I don't think so. Have there been? Let me check
Well,
real quick. Oh,
we
well, we
happen
had
to
a
have
trade. We
one.
did. We
We
did have a
happen to
trade.
have one. Yep.
All right, you're right. Yeah, we see Matthew Stafford, Kevin's team, CD's Nuts, doing a traded Matthew Stafford to Love Hurts
Yes. So the
for
trade
Jordan Love.
prompted a name change. Yeah. So the team that used to be not JT's team
Yeah.
is now called Love Hurts after acquiring Jordan Love on the team that already had Hurts as the quarterback. So yeah, so that's my team, and yeah,
All
Love
right.
Hurts sounded like a great team name there.
That is a good team name.
And yeah, once we get into those lineups, we can talk more about it. I'll give a little background as to what prompted me to seek out a trade.
All
And
right.
I was glad to find a great trade partner that thought that not right. That wasn't Kevin's team. Yeah, for some reason it shows up as Kev there.
Yeah, it
That was
shows up as
done.
Kev, but I'm like, wait a second, that's your team.
No, yeah, that was my trade with Matt Dunn. So
Yeah.
that was
All right.
a
So
great
let's.
trade, I think, for both teams.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's good. I mean, you guys both needed some good QBs there, so I think that was a good trade. So, all right, guys. So let's dive into it. Let's start with our first matchup in the LOEMP League, otherwise known as League of Extreme. I can't ever say League of Extraordinary. Is that it? Extraordinarily mediocre
There
people.
you
There it is.
go.
There it is. All right, let's do. All right, here is our matchup in this league right here. We have my team, Yoda Best Team, versus Shardy McDennis. And man, I was just talking about it, and I left Conklin on the bench. Goes off, has 93 receiving yards, 5 receptions, puts up 14 and a half points. And who did I leave in? Ramondre Stevenson. 30, not even a point. So wasted spot there. Already I'm in the hole here. 18 points to my .30, not even a full point. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little worried this week.
I hear you.
Before going to air, I did pick up another tight end because I had just slotted in Jonnu Smith in today. But, being that we've got the backup QB, Skylar, whatever his name is, Skylar what? Thompson or
Thompson.
what is his name? Yeah, starting today. I'm not feeling sure about it. So I did make up a pickup right before we got on, and I haven't made the swap out yet, but I did pick up the tight end out of Jacksonville. Doctor Strange. Because he did have a good game last week, and it doesn't look like Evan Ingram. I don't know if he's going to play or not today. It seems a little.
No, I think he's been ruled out, actually.
Yeah, okay, so he's been officially ruled out. So I picked him up just before we came on the air, and I think I'm going to make the swap because he did well last week. He seemed to be a go-to target, and That's how I'm feeling. I mean, I like Johnny Smith, but I'm not sure about this QB, and I got a feeling he might be doing some more blocking than actually receiving today. That's my assessment.
You never know. You never know. I do see you got burnt there with Stevenson.
Yep.
He's a locked in starter every week for me, so I can't blame you for doing that. The Patriots definitely did not show up the way we would have all expected them to, and
Yeah,
featured
as Tina says,
their
Patriots are
star.
trash.
Yeah, they are right now. At least last Thursday they were, but I would have expected them to feature their star player. You know, Stevenson's the best offensive weapon they have,
Yeah.
and no, the game got away from them quick, and he never showed up. Unfortunately for you.
Yep. Nope. It didn't happen. Now I do feel good. Baker Mayfield's been on a little bit of a run lately, and it's been very good for me. And I do feel pretty good. I mean, they're going into Denver. You know, I don't think that's. I feel like the way Tampa's been playing, I feel like they can take Denver. So Tina's coming in with the Jets are going to the Super Bowl this year. I see it happening. Well, Tina, we're gonna save this screenshot and we'll see.
We'll get
They're
back
doing
to
a lot
that.
better than my Giants. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, they had a great Thursday. Like if they can keep that up all year, they certainly are, a team
Yeah.
to be reckoned with.
Right.
The problem is that they don't play the Patriots every week,
Mm-hmm.
so they're going to have a hard time keeping that up. But we'll see. Well, let's give him the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt. Aaron Rodgers looks very mobile for
He did.
having
He
been
looked
so
good.
inactive. Yes, having came off of such a long period of inactivity, and reaching a season number. I don't know if this is 20 years, 18 years. A 40-year-old quarterback moving that well was great to see. Absolutely great. I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked good. It was fun to watch. I did catch a little bit of the game, and it was fun to finally see the Jets beat up on the Patriots 20 something years later. So,
Yeah.
so all right. So let's look real quick, and then we'll move on here. But looking at the lineups, I'm gonna say he's got obviously New York D was good. I got Detroit D starting right now against Arizona. Arizona's been pretty decent. Justin Fields, hasn't been anything stellar, but he's been good on the ground for me. Obviously, looking ahead, he's got Burrow here. I've got Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase really hasn't done too much the first couple games, but they are playing Washington today, so there could be. Hopefully, Jamar Chase finally emerges the way being my first round pick there was Jamar Chase. So hopefully he'll show up today. I mean, looking at Baker's been, he's been pretty consistent the last couple games, so I'm hoping he'll put up some points for me today. Kyle Murray has been running around a lot, so maybe Detroit will slow him down a little bit, and that'll help me out. But listen, like I said, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous about this week, but of course, in true fashion, I can't pick against myself because that would just be counterintuitive. So that being said, I'll be picking my team. I'll be picking Yoda Best team to be triumphant over Shardy McDennis, who's very much favored. I'm 125 to his 163 in projections.
Yeah, the original projection was already in his favor, and then after Thursday, you guys fell apart even a bit more. You're going with the rookie Carson Steele in your flex spot, who's taking over Isaiah Pacheco's running back starting role in Kansas City after that injury. Definitely a good start. That's the biggest question mark, I think, on your team right now.
Yeah.
If he can come through, maybe deliver a multiple touchdown night, then you definitely have a really, really strong chance to win this matchup. I am going to go with Shardy McDennis as my pick here, though.
I mean, if it wasn't my team, I'd be picking Shardy as well, just for the record.
For the record.
For the record. All right, guys, let's move it along. Let's get into our next matchup in this, which is Mighty Morphin Bauer Rangers versus CD's Nuts. 2-0 teams versus each other. Number 1 and number 3. And right away, we see across the board Will Levis versus Derek Carr. And then we go CD Lamb. Garrett Wilson had a nice night. For the Jets, already on the board here with 14, just a little under 14 and a half points. You got Ayuk versus Rice, Williams, and Christian Kirk, Saquon, and Etienne. I mean, you got a very balanced lineup here. Brees Hall had a nice night, putting up just under 17 and a half points there. For the current champ, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Kev's team. The projections right now are really only a 10-point swing. I do feel like this could be a lot closer, though, than what's actually being projected. And of course, one last one as we look over at Aaron Rodgers in the flex spot on CD's Nuts. And, of course, 31, just under 32 points there with a nice point total for that super flex spot. And you look at the other side, he's got Nixon as QB for Denver in the super flex spot. Pablo, how are you feeling about this lineup, this matchup?
So I like it. This is definitely a great matchup to watch between two of the teams that are undefeated. Early on, the original projection had Mighty Morphin Bowers as the favorite, but Aaron Rodgers, as we talked about already, put up a show and really cut that down to almost nothing. It's a 10-point spread right now.
Yeah.
I like this matchup a lot. It's very well balanced, as you mentioned earlier. I'm going to go with Speedy's Nuts in this one. I think that his team is really, really good. He's already on a roll with that stack that he's got with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and I think he'll continue.
And I got to say, I do like the decision of going with Derek Carr on CD's Nuts side here as a starting QB and leaving Stafford on the bench because, I mean, Derek Carr, New Orleans, first of all, love seeing New Orleans go into Dallas last week and totally destroy Dallas in their home stadium. Nothing makes me happier as a Giants fan than seeing Dallas lose. And now, hopefully, them playing Philly will also see the same thing happen again. I would love to see nothing more than the Saints to go in and absolutely eviscerate the Eagles in their home turf as well. So it'd be great to see. But I do like it. I think it's a good call starting Derek Carr there over Stafford in this matchup for sure. Just considering how they've been playing lately, New Orleans. I mean, they've been on a run.
Absolutely, I think Carr is just as big as a surprise as maybe Baker Mayfield in the sense that you can confidently start him week in and week out, and so far he's been delivering every time. So I think that's a good call on Dunn's part as well to keep Carr in his lineup. Kevin's team is stacked. I must say that.
It is. Stacked.
Jameson Williams, Ayuk, Lamb, Barkley, Hall. I mean, he's got players for days there. But
he does.
But I'm still going to keep the pick with CD's Nuts.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with CD's Nuts as well on this one. And this is tough because I really, I do really like both these teams. And even though Kev's projected and has is the projected favorite in this one, I do like the Derek Carr matchup. And I just, I would love to see Derek Carr put up big numbers today. The big spot here is the Christian Kirk. He's been okay, not great. So we'll have to see what happens today. I mean, they're going to be in Buffalo, Jacksonville. So we'll see what goes on there. And that may be a point. That may be a little point of contention there. But I am going to go with CD's Nuts too.
All right.
Sorry, Kev. All right, let's move on to the next matchup in this league here. We got It Takes Two at a Tango versus Manja Magic. 2 0-2 teams. Number 10 versus number 11, both looking for their first win. So it's a guaranteed. Someone is coming out with a W today. That's a guarantee. Which one will it be? Right now, Manja Magic is the projected favorite to win. And when you look across what we got here, Dak Prescott versus Josh Allen. One's in Baltimore. The other one is in one's in Baltimore. The other one's in versing Josh. So Buffalo's on home turf.
Dallas is as well.
You're right. Yes, thank you. And looking down this, I mean, Tyreek Hill number 2. I mean, listen, I think you got to be. I mean, Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill, right? But can Skylar Thompson pull it off? Can he get the ball to his weapons? Or is he going to be running for his life? Is he going to be throwing picks? How wild is he going to be? We don't know. It's a big question mark. So there's a potential that Tyreek Hill doesn't do too much today because he just simply can't get the ball. but he's still
This is
Tyreek
true.
Hill. So I mean, all you got to do
Yeah,
is get him the ball. So and he can still make things happen.
absolutely. They're playing in Seattle, so that I'm sure
Yeah,
will play a role as well. I think Hill's that type of player that you don't necessarily even have to get him the ball. As long as you throw it somewhere close to him, he'll go to the ball. He's that kind of guy that can make plays happen. But
and I
you bring
do
up a
like
great
the
point.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
and I do
Thompson may reduce his ceiling a bit.
yeah, which is why I do like the play of having A Chain on starting here because they may move to a big running game. I mean, Seattle could shut that down, and we'll see what happens. But um, they may be running the ball quite a bit just because Skylar Thompson not being able to maybe make the passes or get things off in time. So they may start up with more of a run game. Obviously, if they fall far behind, no, he'll have to pass. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out today. And if Tyreek's going to get a workout, if it's going to be a predominant running game for them. Either way, could spell some big points here potentially for It Takes Two to Tango. But when you look on the other side, I really do like Manja's team here. Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, yeah, Cooper. You got Gibbs. Pollard's been pretty good. Yeah, I like Dalton Schultz. Obviously, he's got Kelsey on the other side, so there's a big potential for Kelsey to make some noise tonight. Super flex spot's interesting. Deshaun Watson versus Jared Goff. I mean, Deshaun Watson's been absolutely awful this season so far, but he is playing the Giants, who I can't say have been playing any better. They did look better last week offensively, but defense was horrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely god awful.
this would be it was an improvement for the Giants. I'll agree with you on that. But this would be an ideal bounce back opportunity for Watson. Like if he's going to ever deliver a really strong fantasy performance, this is
Yeah.
it. Like this, it's set up for it to be today. We'll see what happens. There's also some chatter. I don't want to
Oh,
spread
any
any
rumors?
thoughts, right? Any opportunities for people to get nervous. But I read earlier during the week that the Browns are actually looking out for other quarterbacks to add to their squad, with the possibility of a suspension coming towards Watson for some off the field things that came out in the news recently. So, in the world of fantasy football, where we try to pick up guys, we try to make trades if possible. There is a trade opportunity there for anyone who may want to pursue it. I had Watson in a couple of leagues, and in fear that this actually might happen,
Right.
I went and traded him. And the thing is, today we don't know if that'll actually happen. So he might
Yeah.
be a starter the rest of the season. He might actually be very, very good. So I
Right.
might have traded him away and gotten less than he might actually be able to put on my team.
Mm-hmm.
However, not knowing this, this is when somebody who still has Watson has the opportunity to maybe consider whether they want to take the chance and hold him or not.
Yeah. Good point there. Could be a good time to make a move there. So I think that is something definitely to look out for, definitely a watch. And now might be a good time, especially if he does have a good bounce back game today. His trade value could go up considerably, and you may be able to get a nice haul for him. So I would definitely any Deshaun Watson owners, to your point, should be maybe looking at potential trade opportunities there. I mean, I guess it's going to be dependent on what happens today, right? I mean, would you agree with that? That like having today's game, if he can pull it out or look more like Deshaun of old, would that obviously increase his trade value?
Well, I mean, it can, but I think the big piece there that's that's the unknown is whether or not a suspension will come out at all, or if it even
Right.
comes out this season.
So it's a
So
risk.
it is. But even for somebody who's willing to take that risk, like maybe somebody wants to pursue Watson because they feel that they might be able to get him at a
Yeah.
discount because of what is unknown at this time, and they might end up getting a solid starter for the rest of the year. You never really know. But that news certainly made some moves in different leagues that caused Watson to be considered as a trade piece for some.
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was
All right.
worth mentioning in case anyone else was nervous about that. Maybe this is the time that you want to
Right.
consider, exploring options.
Yep. Well said. All right. So my pick in this matchup is going to be Manja Magic. I'm gonna ride the Manja Magic train, and I'm gonna pick Manja Magic to be the victor in this matchup here.
Very good, very good. Well picked. I'm going to pick the same. Manja Magic, I think will be the favorite here.
All
Already
right.
projected to be in the lead. Has a great team. Tua has great players as well. But we were talking about the Miami situation, and I think that might maybe take a little bit of wind out of that projection.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Let's move on to our next matchup. All right. Our next matchup in this league is the name is Dalton versus Dumbanders. And looking across, we got a very even quarterback matchup. Name is Dalton is projected to be the loser in this one, 139 to 151. We got a fifth place team in the Dumbanders versus 12th place. Fortunately, Ken is sitting in last place at the moment. But once again, this is only week 3, guys. So nobody panic yet, and plenty of time. Once again, just to echo what Pablo is saying, great time. Make some trades, make some moves. Watch the waiver wire. It's a great time to make those moves now. So looking across, we got a very even quarterback matchup here in Brock Purdy and Anthony Richardson. Marvin Harrison Jr. finally started, getting the ball last week. So he was looking good. Of course, Justin Jefferson's still a huge threat. And man, we're talking about impressive runs happening right now. Who the hell would have ever thought Sam Darnold would have any kind of success? And hey, you know what? Good for him, man. I'm glad to see. It was the same way I felt when we saw, in Seattle, the
Gino.
same thing with Gino and seeing his success. Guy has been in the league, traveled from team to team to team, never really finding much traction anywhere, and then boom, lands on a team. And yeah, is he awesome? No. But is he a serviceable quarterback? Yeah. Does he win games? Yeah. And right now, Sam Darnold is winning games.
He's getting the
Straight up.
job
I mean,
done.
he's
Yeah.
getting the job done. And listen, when we were just talking about it with the Dolphins and Tyreek, if you can just get Justin Jefferson the ball, just get him the ball, and good things will happen because he will turn on those Jets and he'll score. So if you could just get him the ball, he'll take it from there.
Yep. He's one of those special players. Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison, great to see that last week. This
Yep.
week he's up against Detroit. Detroit is a team that's also been giving up a lot of points to opposing offenses.
Yeah.
So I think he's in for another nice Sunday.
I think so too. I mean, I think there's some good points there. I mean, one thing to watch too is I don't know where this is with Michael Pittman Jr. He's okay, so he's expected to play. So this week it was a little bit back and forth with his back and calf, but it looks like he's expected to play. So, but I would still watch that because even though if that's a lingering injury that may be bothering him, maybe he won't play the whole game. Maybe he'll be less snaps. I guess we'll have to see. So, you know, probably still roll with that one. I mean, he is a starter, but will he finish the game? We don't know. It's a big question mark. This is the risk of fantasy football, right?
For sure.
Olave, I love Olave on the other side. As we were talking about, the Saints have been on a tear lately, and I love to see it. I'm hoping he goes on a tear in Philadelphia. Would make me so happy to see that. Let's just cruise down here to the super flex spot. We got Caleb Williams versus Trevor Lawrence. What do you think of that matchup? Both right now, both projections even.
Yeah, it is even. I think Caleb will emerge as a star quarterback. He struggled last week, especially. He's not yet been able to plant his feet firm on the ground and really come out. He's learning. He's a rookie. He's getting his experience here, and I think today might be the day where we actually see his team block enough for him and make sure that the guy has enough time to make plays, whether it's in the air or on the ground. Trevor Lawrence has not necessarily been keeping up with the expectations that we all had for him. He's still been good, but his lead wide receiver, Kirk, has been MIA. Nothing special for a number
Right.
one wide receiver on a
No.
team. Evan Ingram out doesn't help Lawrence either.
Nope.
So he's been a little underwhelming, and I think this is actually a really, really balanced superflex matchup that we're comparing right here.
Yeah, and I do like Seattle defense versus Miami. I think there's a great, great potential there for some defensive points, definitely some forced turnovers. So I really like the play of seeing Seattle defense in Miami. I think that's smart. So that could come away with some nice points there. The potential is there. So let's go back up here. So Namath Dalton versus Dumbanders. Where are you at with this pick? I'll let you pick first this time, Pablo. How are you feeling? Which way you feel like this is gonna go?
Well, I'm going to go with the team that has the best logo in our league, which is the Demanders, right there with Kev, the man of the hour. Congrats, Kev, once
All
again.
right.
And Josh's team, I think will come out on top here.
All
I
right.
know we're trying to get through all the lineups here. We didn't really mention Kamara. That's why I think
Oh,
Demanders is
yep.
going to come out on top on this one. Kamara
Yeah.
put up a monster game last week. I think he's leading the league in points ahead of all quarterbacks, ahead of everyone. Kamara's been outstanding, and I think he'll have another solid week. The lineup is really, really good on the Demander, so that'll be my pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with you on that one. I'm also gonna go with that because of that, and I'm glad you brought that up because I did forget that Kamara looking like the Kamara of old. I mean, for a couple years I had him as my keeper, I think in this league, and was great. Obviously, he fell off a little bit, but man, he looked like Kamara of old. And we'll see if he keeps it up. We'll see if he keeps it up. I mean, it'd be cool because he's definitely a fun player to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, right on. So both going with Demanders in this one. Let's go on to our very next match. If I can get it up here. There we go. All right. So moving on to the newly named from JT's team to now Love Hurts.
That's
So
right.
Pablo Martinez versus Tina with Suck My Dicka. All right, here we go. Projections are tight. 130 to 133. Not a big variance there. I like it. I like the tightness of the matchup. Right away, we have Uncle Rico, Mr. Gardner Minshew versus Jalen Daniels. And I'll tell you, Jalen Daniels looked impressive. Or Jaden, right? It's Jaden Daniels? I'm saying it
Jaden.
wrong, right?
Yep.
Jaden
No,
Daniels.
Jaden,
Looked
you got it.
impressive against the Giants last week for the most part. Even though they won the game strictly on field goals. But, pretty crazy.
He did have a good fantasy performance, though. I think
But he had a good fantasy performance.
it was a good day for the rookie quarterback to finally show what he's got. I think he's going to have a great season as well. One of those really, really interesting quarterbacks to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And on my side, Gardner Minshew. That's who I'm rolling with today. I recently parted ways with Matthew Stafford, who would have been my starter.
Right.
So it's Gardner Minshew for me today against Carolina, who I think is not really going to challenge him too much. So I should be okay in that matchup.
And Tina's coming in with some good sportsmanship here. Good luck, my friend.
Thank you, Mrs. Tina. Much appreciated. Same to you. Best of luck to your team. Let's look through the rest of our teams here. Tina's got Raheed Shaheed at wide receiver, Terry
Love it.
McLaurin, and Darnell Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
3 solid wide receivers. With
Yep.
running backs, she's going with Derrick Henry and Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
Sam Laporta at tight end, maybe the most coveted tight end this season after the 2023 performance that he had when he was a rookie. He hasn't really been hitting as high as he was last year, at least through these first 2 weeks. I'm sure that'll change.
Right.
But definitely a great start at tight end. Right now, I'm at a huge disadvantage after going with Hunter Henry on the Patriots. I should have known better to play one of the Patriots receivers, receiving options on a Thursday night in New York. But it is what it is.
Hey, you took the risk.
I did take the risk. Kirk Cousins in her Superflex and the San Fran defense, who's always very, very, very good.
Yep.
On my end, I have a decent starting team. I if you scroll through my bench though, my bench is an infirmary. I've had such a difficult time
Yeah,
trying to find.
you've gotten beat up.
Yeah. A lot. I lost. I think I lost like four starters on
Yeah,
Puka and Pacheco and
and
Ingram
AJ
and
Brown now
AJ
is
Brown.
out,
Yeah,
and
huge,
Ingram.
huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Pachenko's on IR. Yeah, I mean it is it's
ne-
an infirmary.
never give up, as Kevin said. So
Never
I'm
give up.
trying to make things happen as best as I can. I got Love there,
Mhm.
recently acquired, but not playing today, so he's going to
Yeah.
sit there on the bench for now. Tina also is down one of her most productive running backs, Joey Mixon, not playing
Yep.
this weekend. So yeah, I think who's playing instead of Mixon? I think Cam Akers is getting the start in Houston today.
Yep. Cam
Not
Akers
sure.
is getting the start.
Yeah, I'm not sure who picked him up or if he's still out there, but
I
that's
tried
going to
to
be
pick him up
interesting
in
to
the
see.
other league because I have Joe Mixon as well, and he was already gone. Somebody
Already
already
gone.
got snatched him up.
Yep, that happens. But so yeah, so looking back at our projection, it's very very close, 130 to 133. I'm definitely going to stick with picking with my team, but I'm not confident at 100% that that's actually
hmm
what's going to happen this weekend. What do you think,
Right.
Chris?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to pick your team, but I do feel like Tina has an advantage this week. I think Shaid has been great. We were talking about New Orleans just being on a tear. I like Derrick Henry here. Laporta, we'll see what happens there. I do like the call here of benching George Pickens in lieu of Smith Nigba, and because they're going into Miami and great potential there to blow Miami up. So um, I do like that. I do like that because Pittsburgh's not great. I mean, I think George Pickens is a good player, but you know, I like this. I like this decision here. So I want to pick your team, my friend, but I am going to pick Suck My Dicka this week because I do feel like that they've got the slight advantage here.
There you go. There you go. I think I agree with Tina here, benching Pickens. He is a great player, but I don't think Justin Fields it supports him as well.
No.
He's not he runs a lot. He's not big through the air. At least he doesn't try as much as other quarterbacks. Maybe if Russell Wilson ever gets back on the field, that'll boost Pickens's uh, possibilities a little higher than right now. So
Yep.
I definitely agree. Pickens on the bench is not a bad move.
Nope,
So all
not at
right,
all. I like it.
we
All
have
right,
our
cool.
picks.
So there we
We're
go.
split on
Got her.
this one.
Yep. Next bit here. And by the way, I just got the alert that Taysom Hill is officially out. So for all you Taysom Hill owners, he is out. Get him out of your lineup.
OUT.
Officially ruled out.
Very good.
So everybody start looking at if you had him in as your tight end or super flex, you're gonna want to make that move because he is not playing today. And I know that because I had him on one of my lineups.
There you go. All right, we got
Alrighty.
one last matchup in this league.
Yep. One last matchup in this league. And as I'm talking, I'm also trying to make a pickup as well.
That's fine. Go for it. Go for it. So
In
here
one of
we
the
got
other leagues.
Los
Okay.
Chupacabras versus Keith's school team.
Yep.
A
Keith's
very
cool
very
team.
close projection. 155 to
Another
151.
Another close projection. We got number 9 versus number 6. Right away, we got Patty Mahomes versus CJ Stroud. What
Yep.
a what a quarterback lineup here.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Love Stroud. He's been doing great so far. Let's see here. Kevin chiming in. He supported DJ Moore very well last year. This is going to be who was in
Oh,
who was in
I think he'll build. I think we're either talking about George Pickens, um, or we're talking about Fields.
Field.
I don't
That's
know.
right. Field. That's it.
Yeah.
Field did right. He was on in Chicago with GJ Moore. That's right. He did support him well last year. But yeah, we'll see what he can do this season. But so we're looking here at Stroud versus Mahomes in that top QB position.
Yeah.
Uh, two strong quarterbacks. Definitely well balanced. That's why the projections are what they are at the top. Uh, Drake London on one side, Mike Evans on the other. Evans has been having a very good season
Mm-hmm.
with Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Stephon Diggs, Waddle.
Good lineups here. I like the Xavier Worthy start here too. I think that's good. He's been great so far. He's showing some great promise out there. T Higgins probably gonna do good tonight. He is back, right?
He's
Wasn't he?
back.
He's
Yeah.
back. So it'll be interesting. I mean, right now it's a primetime game, Monday night under the lights. National game under the big lights. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be nice to see Cincinnati get back, especially for all of us. All of us owners, whether it's Burrows or you know uh,
Chase.
Chase.
He'll help
Thank you.
Chase. Yeah, he'll help
Yeah,
Chase to get some attention off of him.
yeah.
Higgins
Also
making
like
his season debut tonight or tomorrow night, I should say.
Jacobs, Kelvin Williams, DeAndre Swift, Mason Andrews, Mark Andrews. I mean, this is like you go right down the line here, and all great picks. Definitely a little bit lopsided here with Dobbs and Charbonnet. But and this is the one thing here. But I got to tell you, Lamar, always good at fantasy stuff, but just hasn't been awesome yet.
He hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't yet. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I took Lamar in a league or two, and I definitely drafted him high, believing that he was going to come out balling, and he hasn't yet. I think
It
he still
hasn't yet.
will, but
Yeah.
it hasn't happened yet. Yeah, it's odd.
I would love to see him do it against Dallas, though. It'd be great. Let this be the day that he gets goes off, and let it be Dallas. It'd be awesome. Once again, anybody playing Dallas and watching them go off on Dallas would be fantastic. So it'd be great to see them get destroyed 2 weeks in a row by somebody coming into their house. So but and obviously that'll be a big help then for for Los Chupacabras for sure. But I like the Gino. Once again, we've been talking about the Gino Seattle going to Miami. This is a great time for anybody playing Miami to just beat the heck out of them and score some points, win the game. So listen, I like this matchup. This is a tough one to call, man. Um, Looking at it from top to bottom here, I really like this. This is going to be a fun one to watch throughout the day for sure. Who am I going with? This is like a coin toss here. I mean, it's really going to come down to like these teams having a good day. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna buck the projections here, and I'm gonna go with Los Chupacabras.
Very good. Very good.
That's gonna be
Well,
my pick. I mean, I had to pick somebody here. It's very hard. This is definitely a coin toss of a coin flip of a matchup in my opinion.
it is. It sure is. You know what? I'm gonna make the same pick. I'm gonna go with the Chupacabras. I think that
Okay.
the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to lean more on the passing game, having lost Isaiah Pacheco. So right there, Xavier
Right.
Worthy and Patrick Mahomes are probably going to put up some nice points for Los Chupacabras. And the same thing with Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews that he also has. Going into Dallas, I think they'll do it again. They'll do well. The Dallas team will do it again, I should
Right.
say, in
Yeah.
letting somebody come in just like they did last week with New Orleans and have a day. I think that's going to happen. Um, I do want to point out Keith's team has wonderful, wonderful running backs. I mean, putting
Heck yeah.
Dobbins on the bench, I'm looking at his team and I'm like, how does anyone afford to be able to leave Dobbins, who's been great, on their
Yeah.
bench? And I'm looking at the rest of the running backs in the flex spot, and they're all super great options. So well done, Keith, there. But for today's pick, I'm going to go with Los Chupacabras.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting call. It's gonna see. Like I said, I'm not. I feel like both teams could really run away with it today in that sense. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, both of us taking Los Chupacabras. So all right. So let's recap the picks, and then we'll move into the next league. So we'll start right again there with our last one. We'll go work from the bottom up. Los Chupacabras versus Keith's cool team. Both of us have chosen Los Chupacabras. In Love Hurts versus Suck My Dicka. I went with Suck My Dicka in this one. And Pablo, of course, you chose your own team with Love Hurts.
That's right.
In this next matchup, we had Name is Dalton versus Dumbanders. You and I are both on the side of the Dumbanders being victorious over the Name is Dalton. It Takes Two to Tango versus Manja Magic. You and I have both sided on that one, with both of us choosing Manja Magic to be victorious and kick off the run. We'll see what happens here. This might be the start of the run. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the champ versus CD's Nuts, number 1 versus number 3. And we have both chosen CD's Nuts in that one. So we're both going with the underdogs in that one because, we want the champ may have a hard time even though they're projected to win today. And in the last one that we talked, which was the first one we talked about today, Yoda Best Team versus Shardy McDennis, number 2 versus number 4. I have chosen my team, even though I am very much at a disadvantage at the moment, but that's just projections. Anything can happen. And Pablo has chosen Shardy McDennis to be victorious in that one. So that is our picks for League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People. Let's move on to our second fantasy league that we're both in, which is the Dirt Invitational, another 12-team league. Let's review the standings here in this one. Currently, my partner in crime here is sitting in first place with a nice little point total here.
Yep,
I like it.
Thank you, Alvin Kamara, for that.
Yep. Then sitting in second place, we got Moose Knuckles, Manja in third, Bodie McBoatface in fourth place. And then we start moving into IU Crazy, BMF, Killer Beer, Sharkbait, Show Me Your TDs. And Show Me Your TDs, Ginger Ninjas, Sicilians, and Prima Dolos Matador right now all winless. But as we've said, it is only week 2, and anything can happen. It's only week 2.
That's right.
It's only week 2. So
I don't
like
think we've seen any trades here in this league yet, but
I don't think so. Let me cruise down here.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of those pop up.
No trades.
I've been trying to come up with an option or two of my own to throw out to different teams to see if we have any takers. But I also encourage everybody else to do the same. Please find ways to make trades. It's a great part of the fantasy football game. It's so much fun, and it's an opportunity that you're leaving on the table if you're not trying to make trades to improve your own team as well as your trade partners.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. Agreed. I had the little banner going. I'll get the banner. Make some trades. Here we go. Make some trades.
That's it.
I am open. By the way, I will say I am open for trades. So I was looking at my team, looking at everybody else's teams. I might have 1 or 2 players brewing here. So I'm interested. Just saying.
Good.
All right.
Good.
So,
Good
Pablo, we always have a game of the week in this league. What is the game of the week in the Dirt League?
So the tradition in the Dirt League has been that the champ from the previous season has to pick the game of the week each week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Manja Magic has struggled a bit with that responsibility, and as of today, I have not yet heard that we have a game of the week chosen for this week. We did it. Did it for 2 weeks, but I don't think we have one. At least I didn't hear about it. So in instances like that, it's really helpful for all of us to chip in and help. So, Chris, let's make this opportunity the chance for you to maybe select the game of the week for.
Well, I'm going to go. I know exactly which way I'm going because I think it's a good one. I think that we should go with Uruguay versus Manja. We should do husband versus wife. And not only that, but the point differential is very close in the projections here. So I say we start here, and it's a number 1 versus number 3 matchup. Both teams undefeated right now. So somebody is coming away with an L this week. Their first
Great
L
choice.
of the season. It's happening. So let's make this game of the week. Uruguay versus Manja Magic. Let's look at it right away. Jared Goff versus Dak Prescott. Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill versus Chris Olave. Alvin Kamara versus Travis. I mean, look at this ETN. I mean, look at this lineup on both sides here. And even in a super flex spot, I like it. Sam Darnold and Anthony Richardson. Like that could go either way. I mean, that's great. Even in your defense here, looking good all the way down here. And I mean, listen, you've got Geno Smith on the bench, Trevor Lawrence on the bench. Oh, you have Akers. Oh, Should have traded with you this week.
Yeah,
Akers. I mean, you've got some people on your bench that could be, good. Could have a good day today, especially with Geno Smith going to Miami. So listen, this is a stacked lineup, man. And honestly, once again, this is a game that could really go either way and could go back and forth all day long. This is a tough one to pick.
it is. It is great choice for game of the week. It was the highest combined projection that we had this week of all matchups. Manja's team is solid, and I think my team's doing pretty well as well.
Yeah.
We've both been very, very lucky to not sustain any major injuries. Small injury here and there, but nothing that really derailed the team. Tina chiming in. Anyone want to trade for Tua? Perhaps the quarterback Brissett. Yeah, Brissett didn't have the best game on Thursday night, unfortunately, and Tua placed on IR. Tina, let me tell you this. In the draft, I was targeting Tua as my next pick. I think it was maybe round 2. I can't remember for sure, but your pick was right before mine, and you took Tua first, and I was so upset because I had Tyreek Hill and I wanted to pair him with Tua, and I didn't get the chance to. And now, destiny just made those cards fall the way they did. And I'm not so upset anymore. So I did want to share that.
I did want to share that.
Yeah. I think Tua will come back. I think he's still a player that is tradable. Just maybe not right now. I don't think his value is high enough right now that you're going to get anything. He's
a good trade for a bench stash for sure.
Right.
And I don't think he's done for the season. I mean, he's going to miss a few games for sure, but I don't think he's done for the season.
Right. So going back into this matchup, lots of healthy, really, really good players.
Yeah,
I think it's really close.
Like this.
I mean, I'm obviously going to go with the norm of picking my team, but if it was any other team, this would be super hard to decide upon.
Yeah, I'm really having a difficult time. I mean, honestly, this may just come down to even IDP stuff. It's like it's pretty crazy. I mean, this is a wild matchup in the sense of it being so close. So listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna side with my co-host, and I gotta pick somebody here. And, I'm going to have to go with my co-host. Sorry, Manja Magic, but I'm a big fan of the team, big fan of the run, the ride. It's all great, but today I'm going to side with my partner in crime here. I'm going to go with Uruguay is going to pull one out, and Manja's going to take her first L of the season.
Much apprecited, my friend. And in LOEMP League, week 1, we faced off, and I barely got the edge over her in the last quarter of the Monday night game. So let's see what happens. This might be redemption for Manja. If it is, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So alrighty, let's move on. So that was our game of the week: Uruguay versus Manja in the Dirt Invitational. Both of us have chosen Uruguay. Let's go to our next matchup in this league. We'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. Killer Beers versus Bodie McBoatface. All week long, I've seen our projections either be tied, or I'm above by a point or two, or Bodie's above by a point or two. So our projections have been changing all week long. Right now, Bodie is projected to be the winner in this matchup. And by the way, Kevin is coming in saying my pick is Viv. So let it be noted, Kev is siding with Manja in that matchup.
Very good.
He's picking Viv. All right. So in this one, once again, I've got Baker Mayfield as my starter versus Lamar Jackson. I know I was saying before I would love for Lamar Jackson to go off in Dallas today because I can't stand Dallas. But for fantasy reasons, I hope he doesn't, because I would rather Baker go off and do some damage. But I do have my stream going to Baker and Evans. Hopefully Jamar Chase has a really nice game. As I said, I got A-Chain, and I'm hoping, maybe they'll do a good ground game today, good running game, because they don't want to put Skylar Thompson in too many situations where he's going to have to pass and potentially, get pressured by the Seattle defense too much. But And yeah, once again, you can see I did pick up the rookie. He was open in the waiver, and I scooped him up for the running back steal in Kansas City.
Good choice.
So I'm hoping he'll have a good day. He seemed to have a pretty decent game last week. I got Brock Bowers going. I mean, honestly, when I look at our matchup, I also feel like this is an evenly stacked game, even though Bodie's projected to win. But I do feel like we could be going back and forth all day long. That's my assessment. I of course am going to pick my team because it's my team, and I will not pick against myself. I just don't think that we ever should. We don't. You and I do not pick against when it's our team. So I'm picking my team to be victorious over Bodie. I feel like I got a really good chance of beating her today. I do. Pam's always put together great teams. She's always very hard to beat. She goes on great runs, always very competitive. So I'm not feeling like it's going to be a cakewalk. It may even come down to some. If everybody performs at the level they're supposed to, hopefully Lamar doesn't. Hopefully, but I feel like it could come down to some stat corrections. That's where I'm at.
It's
But I'm
close.
going
It's
with my
close.
team. Yeah. What are
Very
you
good.
feeling, Pablo?
So yeah, Bodie's been one of the toughest competitors I've seen in our league. Super,
Always tough.
super. Yeah, great to have. I'm gonna pick Bodie McBoatface in this one. I do like your
Mm-hmm.
team quite a bit. I think the Jamison Williams option you have there is probably my favorite. Like
Right.
I'm happy to see the kid actually deliver
Yeah.
on the expectations that we've had for him for years. So it's
He
fantastic
had
that
a
it's
great game
yeah.
last week.
Yeah, and even the week before he was involved. I think that the season is looking bright for him. But she's got a solid team as well in that flex lineup. She's got a player on the same team and Jameer Gibbs, so that'll be interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see how
Yep.
you two face off there. But yeah, Bodie will be my pick on this one for today's
Okay.
matchup.
And I'm gonna just go with it. I think Uncle Rico Gardner Minshew's got a field day in Carolina.
Hope so.
I hope so. All right. So yes, my pick is my team, Killer Beers, and Pablo has chosen Bodie McBoatface to be victorious in this matchup. All right, let's go our next. Looking at our next matchup, because we just did Uruguay. We did Uruguay versus Manja. That's our game of the week. We're going to look at Moose Knuckles versus Primo de los Matador. We have a 2-0 team sitting in second place versus an 0-2 team sitting in 12th place, last place, in Mikey. And right now, the projections are definitely in the favor of Moose Knuckles. When we look down the matchups here, Patty Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Garrett Wilson had a nice night for Moose Knuckles already on Thursday night. We were talking about that before. Nice points there.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey had the other running back on the Jets running here.
Yep,
Allen.
he loves
Yep.
his rookies, man. He loves his
Braylon
rookies.
Allen, 7.5 points, not bad. But going up against Derrick Henry might not be enough there to turn the tide against Derrick Henry. If you look at the tight end spot, we got the Parkinson versus Jay Ferguson from Dallas. And let's just go down. Oh, so we got Pollard. I like Xavier Worthy versus the Pollard lineup though. I like that spot there. But we look at the super flex. We got Derek Carr versus Brock Purdy.
Not
And
bad, not bad.
also defensively too, nice defensive picks. I do think Seattle's gonna have a good day today though. But I mean Vegas versus Carolina could have a good day today too. So both these defenses going in playing some teams that are Carolina, not a good team at all, and Miami is on the ropes currently.
Yeah.
Um,
On Moose Knuckles teams, I gotta say, Pollard has been great. I think Pollard is having a fantastic season, better than last year. We all expected last year without Zeke, Pollard was
yeah.
going to take off. He didn't really quite do as well as at least I thought he would do, and
Mm-hmm.
he's doing that this year in Tennessee. He went to a new team, and at first, we weren't sure, is he going to split time with Spears? Tajay Spears might be the 1B to the 1A. It's not the case. Pollard is locked and loaded, having a great season. Moose Knuckles has a really, really solid team. This will be a dangerous matchup for Primo de los Matador at 0-2, projected with a disadvantage for the moment.
Yeah.
Could be looking at an 0-3 season, and to climb out of a hole like that is never easy. We never give up, but that would
Nope.
not be what Prima de los Matador wants. I think his projection is skewed a little bit by one of those IDP guys that is projected for less than a point.
Yeah, I see
Um,
that. I see that. One of the Giants secondary guys. We got
yeah,
Phillips here. Drew Phillips. Um,
but he had a good game. You see, last
he
week
had a
he
good
had like over
game.
10 points. So I
Yeah.
noticed that with Yahoo, they don't always project perfectly well with IDP. I did the same actually. I picked up a guy that was projected for 2 points, but he got like 12
Yeah.
because I noticed that the week before he had been doing well. So I thought, all right, maybe
Yeah.
he'll continue.
Well, this is why you
Um,
can't always go on to projections, and you got to look at the lineup and the players and all that. But I do feel like you're right. This could be a much more of a sneakier game in a sense of not being so far off. I mean, right now, as it stands, it's 11.5 versus 14. Simply because I mean, Prima put up some points already for Thursday. I mean, so did Moose Knuckles. So this could be a sneaky game, man, for sure.
I think so. Yeah, um, I think Moose Knuckles has a very very strong team, but I'm going to go with the
Mm.
underdog in this one. I'm going to say
All
Mikey
right,
gets the first win of the season for Prima de los Matador.
all right. Look at that. Look at the pick. Yeah, I feel like that there is a real good potential for Mikey to steal this game out from Moose Knuckles today. But I do look on the other side and I go, man, if all these players are firing on all cylinders, he could do
Forget
some
it.
damage
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Um, and that to me makes me lean a bit more towards Moose Knuckles on this one. So I always love to see the underdog come up. But I do think Moose Knuckles is going to hold on and take the win on this one.
Very good.
All right, cool. Let's move on to our next one. Next matchup here, we've got Ginger Ninja versus Are you Are you crazy? Are you crazy? I say it right.
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy? Oh, and by the way, just for any Justin Herbert owners, he is playing today. Just got the notification that if you're
Good
a Justin
call.
Herbert owner, he will be active for today's game versus the Steelers. So, if that was somebody you have on your team and you were going back and forth, should I play him? Should I not? He is active for today.
Good to hear. He had a high ankle sprain that was a concern for every fantasy football manager that had him on his team. It appears he will be in.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we've got Ginger Ninja sitting in 10th place versus Kev's team. Are you crazy? At 1-1, sitting in 5th place. Projections are very close right now. We got Jalen Hurts versus Kyler Murray. Looking up here, going down. Amari Cooper, Drake London, Shaheed, who's been just great. I mean, God, we can't say enough good things about how New Orleans has been playing. Versus Ayuk. Kevin rolling with Brees Hall on Thursday night, putting up 15 points. Nice. Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. I mean, look at this lineup. I mean, unfortunately, Heather also went with Hunter Henry, as you did as well.
Yep.
Just only put up a point here. So that didn't do her any favors versus Dallas Goddard on the other side. But I mean, look at this. Tank Dell, we got Ford. And we're just talking about Justin Herbert now playing. So if Heather was on the fence about it, you don't have to worry. He is playing now.
Rest
Versus
assured. Yeah.
Calvin Ridley.
At the Superflex.
Look at Calvin Ridley still in here, still going, and
Yep.
put up 22 points last week. By the way,
He did. He had a great week too.
so what do you
Uh,
think of that? Right off this, I just want to look at that. What do you think of that decision right there? Starting Calvin Ridley in the super flex spot versus Justin Herbert. What do you think of that strategy?
well, I think that's a smart choice by Kevin. His other quarterback was Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones did have a really really solid game last week. He put up like 20 plus fantasy points, but he's not playing the Commanders this week,
Mm-hmm.
and it's risky to put your faith in Jones right now.
Yeah.
So he's calling a shot. Kevin's going with Ridley here. I think Ridley has a good game. I don't mind starting Ridley anywhere, like whether it's wide receiver position, regular flex
Yeah,
position, or even super flex if that's how you want to go.
right. Yeah, and he is saying here, his comment is, I may my super flex might change. So
Okay,
he's thinking about changing it. And then Chris Carr coming in with, this week Ninja starts our march to the playoffs.
that's it.
Hey, we saw it last year. We saw Ginger Ninja become a very scary team to play last year. Uh, and was not a team anybody wanted to play because she got hot. She got hot.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. She knows how to do it. So, yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if there's a team that goes on another roll like Ginger Ninja again. Uh, Super close matchup. The projections are really really tight here. I think that even though this one's difficult, I'm gonna go with the Ninja, who's right now a slight underdog, and even though
Mm.
she only had a point off of the tight end position, I think the rest of the team is going to show up and deliver a good fantasy performance. So Ginger Ninja is the pick for me.
All right. All right. Look at that. So going Ginger Ninja this week. So I'm looking at it, and I feel like this is a hard one to pick. It'll be interesting to see if Kevin does, in fact, change his super flex or rolls with Calvin Ridley. In Atlanta, not Atlanta, sorry. I'm still thinking Calvin. Tennessee versus Green Bay should be a good game to watch. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go with Ginger Ninja as well. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go. And I think that this is going to be a close matchup, man. I really don't think that this is going to be a runaway game for either team. This is a hard one to predict. But I'm just going to decide with Ginger Ninja because, you know what? Why not? And she's
that's
the
a
underdog
super.
at the moment.
It's a super interesting choice that Kevin has there. He said he might change it. If you look at his regular flex spot, he's starting. He's starting Ford, Jerome Ford, I think it is,
Yeah, Jerome
off of
Ford.
Cleveland, playing against the Giants. So the matchup is good.
Yeah.
Ridley also has, a good matchup, had a good week
Yep.
last week. He's basically looking at two spots with three players in Jones, Ford, and Ridley. And as of right now, he's choosing to leave Jones on the bench. I
Yep.
don't know that I don't
And
know that
DeAndre
that's a tough
Swift.
one. Yeah, yeah, but I still would probably go Ford over Swift if it were me.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, what would you do if this was your team, Chris? Like, would you, if you had a choice to bench one of those three, Ford, Ridley, or Jones, would you end up benching the running back or the wide receiver?
This
It's a
is a
tough
tough
one.
question. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
Because Daniel Jones has not proven any. I can't trust him. I mean, he had a good game last week, but he was playing Washington. I mean, the
right.
Browns aren't really. The Browns haven't been great, but it doesn't matter because they should have won the first game against Minnesota. I mean, there was so there's I don't think Jones can be trusted. And at least Calvin Ridley is a guy that has been very consistent in the league. And he did have a great game. Green Bay's not awesome. It's a favorable matchup. So I think I would go with Calvin Ridley there. Kevin's coming back in. He goes, it probably wouldn't be Jones if I change it.
Oh,
So
okay, okay. There
Jones
you
isn't
go.
even in the
There you go.
mix in
All right.
Kevin's eyes. So
Perfect.
we're talking
Perfect.
about Jones. Kevin, it's not even part of his decision making process.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. So
And Chris Carr
TBD, I
coming in.
guess
Jones is awful. He's not dependable. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, he'll have a
Jones
good
isn't
game
even a
here and
Kevin's
there,
winner.
but yeah, it's not easy to figure out when that'll be. So
So it'll be interesting. So is Kevin then looking at making the swap here and putting in DeAndre Swift
I guess we'll
potentially?
we'll we'll stay tuned and find out. He also has Jaden Reed on his
Yeah,
team, so
Jaden Reed. Yep.
that's another solid option if you wanted to go that route. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we'll
Well,
see what he does. But
the mystery continues.
yeah, so we both sided with the Ginger Ninja here.
Yeah, we both are taking Ginger Ninja in this matchup. So,
All
all
right.
right, let's move on. Right. Now, who we got here? We've got the Sicilians. Whoops. Jumping around a little bit. Here we go. Sicilians versus Show Me Your TDs. We got number 11 versus number 9. Both teams currently winless. Tina's projection is pretty low at the moment, and it's probably because so she had Jacoby Brissett starting. and did not have a great game at all.
Nope, not at all.
Didn't even finish the game because then they put in Drake May at some point, right?
They did. Once the game was far out of reach, they
Yeah,
put the rookie in to
yeah.
see, give him an opportunity there to get some reps.
And on the
But
other side of the super flex, Aaron Rodgers on
yeah,
Show Me Your TDs. So right away, a little bit of a big, 23 points versus 3.5 points, already blowing up your super flex spot. Unfortunately, Jacoby Brissett did not perform, so lost points there. However, on the other side, he had Ramondre Stevenson playing, who no 0 points. So he's already got a blown running back spot versus Devin Singletary, who, quite honestly, has been playing pretty good. I mean, last week, 13.5 points. So
yeah,
could be a place where Tina can make up some points there.
for sure. That's going to be her opportunity. Obviously, nobody expected Stevenson to deliver a donut. That's really like
Yeah. I mean, I certainly
really
did it.
difficult, right? A really difficult pill to swallow when your starting running back on Thursday delivers nothing. Tina chiming in here. Back to school night was Thursday. I was desperate to find a QB between parents coming in. Look at the teacher setting up her lineup on back to school night.
I
And
love it.
listen, you did a great job. I would have gone
Yeah.
with Brissett as well. It's
Me
just that
too.
the Patriots as a whole had a terrible night. Obviously, that's why Stevenson on Chris's side did terrible as well. But it's
Yeah.
balanced for the both of you. I think your matchup is still pretty close. He
I
did
do
have
too.
Rodgers, who exceeded his projection, and that's why he's currently projected in the lead at the moment.
Yeah.
But
And she still has
still a pretty
Justin
close game.
Jefferson. She has Justin Jefferson. I mean, look at Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Singletary, Justice Hill, Kelsey,
Higgins,
T.
making his
Higgins
debut.
is back.
We were talking about that. Yeah.
I mean, I know you look on the other side, Godwin. I mean, I picked up Strange too, so he's got Strange starting. Zach Moss playing in. Had a great first game. Not so great last week, but he's playing Washington. Like,
Right. That's it. That's it.
I mean,
This is an interesting point in the season where you can start to target teams that you've seen deliver back-to-back terrible weeks on defense. Those
yeah,
are the teams you want to try to find matchups against. So I love the Zach Moss start right here.
I do too. I mean, the one thing here is the QB could be lopsided, but it may not. I mean, you got both these teams playing each other, right? So it's like you got Daniels and Burrow. If Burrow has a great night, I mean, he has played Washington. The potential of going off is there. That
Right.
could be the one spot there where it could seriously skew this game in favor of Chris.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you 100% on that.
other than that, it's pretty even down the board. So I'm only going to say for that one reason only, I'm going to go with Show Me Your TDs to be victorious, just because Burrow may have the game where he just connects and goes crazy, and can put up some big points, and it may just be enough, because I think this will be a close game, may just be enough points to put him over the edge to win today, to win this week. So I'm going to go with Show Me Your TDs for this one.
Very good pick. I'm going to also go with the current third trophy holder. Show me your touchdowns for the win on this one. And again, I love what you said about that Washington Cincinnati game. Cincinnati playing at home. Burrow is probably finally going to have an opportunity to show off against a Washington team that doesn't really, they made Daniel Jones look good last week, right? I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. So I think Burrow's going to have a really, really good week. That'll be my pick for this one. Show me your touchdowns.
All right, there you go. And listen, guys, as we go along here too, I always want to remind everybody, like, this is, for everybody watching, especially those in our league, like, we love the talk, we love the interaction. So whether it's smack talk or fun or your insights, let us know. And also let us know your picks. Like, you guys are in our leagues, you see the same things. Who do you think is going to win some of these matchups as we go through? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And Tina saying good luck, Chris. May the best 0-2 win. Tina's such a team player. She's such a good sport. I'm sorry I didn't pick you this week, Tina. But she's got a great attitude.
For sure.
So, alrighty, let's move on to our. Okay, so in our last matchup in this league, we got Sharkbait versus BMF, both 1-1 teams. Sharkbait sitting at in 8th place, and BMF sitting in 6th place. Right away, we see a Kirk Cousins matchup versus CJ Stroud. Just to go back to the points right now, BMF is already in the points with 22.5 versus 6. Is the projected winner by Yahoo's stats here. But let's look at the lineup. Let's dive in here. We got Kirk Cousins versus CJ Stroud. What do you feel about that matchup, Pablo? How does that one make you feel?
So I like Stroud. I'm going to check back on Cousins. He had a decent week last week in Philly, which was unexpected. He's playing at home today against Kansas City. So that it's going to be another tough matchup because Philly wasn't supposed to be an easy game for Cousins, yet he still got it done and won the game. So I wouldn't put it past him to do it again, but I do like Stroud a lot better, and I like his team better. They're going into Minnesota. I think that would be a great football game to watch in itself. But for the matchup here, I do think that the Stroud starting quarterback position there is a little better in my opinion.
All right, very good. I like that. I'm going to agree with that assessment. I think Stroud is the better QB here. And they are playing at Minnesota, which, though, we've seen Minnesota has been good, recently. But we're going to see. I mean, I think Minnesota is going to have a tough day today against Houston, but let's see what happens. Houston's on the road. Kirk Cousins, versus KC, not an easy matchup. And, Kirk Cousins isn't always the most reliable, isn't the most consistent of quarterbacks. And, Atlanta's okay. They're an okay team. Kansas City. I mean, they're powerhouse. They got a lot of good players. So I don't think that matchup is in Atlanta's favor at all. But let's look at let's go down here. We got Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr. We have Pierce versus Zay Flowers. Alec Pierce.
That's right.
Now,
great
Alec Pierce
matchup.
Not projected, but however, just because I do want to look at this because the projections are low, but look at what he's done point wise over the last 2 weeks. 19.5 points in week 1 and 14.5 points in week 2, still being projected low for today's game. Interesting.
Yeah, those first 2 weeks, the Indianapolis Colts were without Josh Downs.
Yeah,
and I'm looking it up now, but I do believe that week 3 is the week where Downs comes back and starts. I believe that is the case. That's probably he's Josh Downs cleared to make his season debut today. So I think that's probably why Alec Pierce's projection stays low despite having such good back-to-back weeks in weeks 1 and 2. But those high performances came in the absence of his fellow wide receiver there, Josh Downs. So we might see that come down a little bit for Pierce, but we might not. I mean, they're hot, they're on a roll. They might ease Downs into the game. So maybe Pierce has another strong game today.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, it's like if something's working, why do you change it? But I mean, obviously, you've got a good player, and you're also not, if he can play, you're gonna play him. If he's the better player, you're gonna play him. So,
right, you want to play them both.
Yeah, and Falcons coming into this game 1-1. By the way, I mean, I don't want to slag on the Falcons 100%, but I mean, when we compare them against the Chiefs, they're
that'll be a little tough.
All right, so let's look at then we started talking about the running back lineups here. So interesting running back lineups.
For sure. Bijan versus Barkley, Kyron versus Mason. I think those are 4 really, really solid choices right there. So both teams very, very strong at the running back position, well balanced as well.
Excellent. Yep, I like that. And I also like these tight end matchups too. McBride versus Laporta. I think that'll be a fun one to watch. And you got both teams facing each other, which will be fun to watch. We like Naylor. So Minnesota, we got Naylor versus Dobbins here, and here's
Hmm.
another pick where Jalen Naylor had 8.5 points in week 1, 12.5 points in week 2. And he's
Yeah.
right now, right behind receiving yards, finished second in receiving yards to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, the other wide receiver on that team, Jordan Addison, is out this week. I think he left the
Mm-hmm.
game last week, or maybe didn't play at all. I can't remember for sure. But
Right.
Naylor's been picking up the slack there behind Jefferson, and he's had great weeks and is probably in line for another good one
Mm-hmm.
today.
Chris Carr saying Barkley will bounce back after last week. Just a feeling as he has something to prove this season.
I love it. Yeah, I think so. I do think
Yeah.
so. Barkley's going to be great again today.
Yep. The potential's there, and I don't want to admit it because I'm angry with him, but that's another show. That's another show.
Right.
All right. So, just looking at the Superflex spots too, we Will Levis versus Deshaun Watson, and we were talking about that Deshaun Watson before. Deshaun has the potential for having a good comeback game against the Giants today. If that happens, we'll see if it materializes. We talked about Deshaun Watson also being a potential great trade. Right now, it'd be a good time to maybe think about trading him if you have him, or if you're looking to bolster up your team. Could be some good trade bait with him. And Will Levis, with him, he is very unreliable right now. I mean, last week, the whole thing, coach yelling at him, all this stuff. Will Levis, young quarterback trying to find his way. What do you think with him?
I was super high on Levis this season. I thought the addition of Calvin Ridley was only going to help him. Calvin Ridley has had a good week last week, and yet Levis is still not really there. I can't remember word for word what exactly were the comments from the coach, but they weren't great. And Levis has had a 6-point game in week 1, 10-point game in week 2.
Yeah.
They were difficult matchups. Now he gets Green Bay, so maybe there's an opportunity there for him to finally have a big game. But he's definitely disappointed compared to the expectations that at least I had for him. I thought he was going to have a season 2 where he steps up and really shows that he can be a good fantasy producer. A guy who likes to throw the ball, very, very similar to, even though it's risky, maybe he'll have interceptions, very similar to other quarterbacks that perhaps weren't the greatest quarterbacks in real football, but for fantasy purposes, they were always, always great to start in your lineups.
Now, I got a question because I'm cruising down looking at the bench spots here, and I would love to hear your so Will Levis being in the Superflex spot for Shark Bait. And I see on the bench, he's got, Mr. Bo Nix from Denver.
Mm-hmm.
If you were the owner of this team, do you think you'd swap Will Levis out with Bo Nix?
So Bo Nix also hasn't been fantastic, but, he is a rookie, so he definitely needs time. Has had difficult matchups to start the first 2 weeks of the season. Has a more favorable matchup today in Tampa Bay. So it is a bit of they're both risky picks. It is a bit of a coin toss, but I would still side with Will Levis only because I do think that he will have a big, big game one day. And if you bench him, then you're going to miss out on that chance. It may not be this week, but if I had to bet on those two, I would go with Levis.
All right, very good. I like that. I think I would go with Levis too. Because we did see him have some good flashes in the pan last year. I think the potential's there, right? He's a young quarterback. Also, their line is not good. I mean, that's the other thing, too. I mean, he got 4 sacks last week. Their offensive line's not great. So, but we'll see. I mean, we're only in week 3, so maybe we'll see some improvement here in this week 3. And like you said, Green Bay is not a bad matchup for him to try to have that. All right, so let's looking at everything else. Let's make our picks on this one. I mean, right now BMF is the heavy favorite according to Yahoo's projections here versus Shark Bait. I am gonna go. I'm gonna side with this projection here looking at it both ways, looking at CJ Stroud, I like Marvin Harrison Jr., I like the Barkley. There's a lot of good on this team that I feel like puts BMF at the advantage over Sharkbait this week. So I'm going to go with BMF as my pick.
Very good, very good. Super strong team there with BMF. Had a very, very strong week 2. Put up really, really, really big points. I'm going to go with the underdog here. I think
All
Sharkbait
right.
pulls it off. Yeah, I think he's got a great team as well. A couple of riskier choices, but I think maybe stars line up for Sharkbait and he pulls off a win here.
All right. Very good. And there you have it. So let's review our picks for the Dirt Invitational Week 3. We'll start with that last one. Sharkbait versus BMF. I have chosen BMF. Pablo has gone with Sharkbait. In Sicilians versus Show Me Your TDs. We have both chosen Show Me Your TDs. We've got Ginger Ninja versus Are You Crazy? We have both gone with Ginger Ninja in that matchup. Moose Knuckle versus Prima Dolas Matador. I have chosen Moose Knuckles, while Pablo has chosen Prima Dolas Matador. And Killer Beers versus Bodie McBoatface. I, of course, chose my team, Killer Beers, while Pablo is side with Bodie. And in our Game of the Week matchup, Uruguay versus Manja, husband and wife. Almost a dead heat here. But the picks are in, and they are unanimous. We have both chosen Uruguay to be victorious in the Game of the Week matchup here in a Dirt Invitational League. So there you have it, everybody. Those are our picks. Love them, hate them. They are what they are. Let us know in the comments. Who else do you agree with the picks? Who would you pick in these matchups? Drop them in. We love the interactivity. Love that you guys watch and hang out with us each and every week as we make these picks and have fun. Pablo, as we wrap it up here, what kind of advice or insight do you have for everybody this week beyond, hey, let's get those trades going?
Well, yeah, trades are at the top, but yeah, aside from that, enjoy football. Enjoy watching a game or two if you get a chance. Enjoy following up with your lineups, and then, if things don't happen for you, don't let it get to you. There's always next week. I know last week I meant to bring it up, and then as we were talking, it skipped my mind. Show Me Your Touchdowns had the second highest score of the week, but faced the team Manja that had the highest score of the week. So he ended up with a loss, and that's a tough one to swallow. But there's a bounce back opportunity right around the corner. So don't let it get to you guys, and gals. Enjoy your football Sunday today. And we got
Tina saying, "Oh yeah, St. Gennaro Fest in Denville today." I know I saw that, Tina, and I wanted to go, but the Giants aren't at 1. So
well, enjoy the festival. Yeah. And you trust a fantasy football team that has a soccer player for logo. I'm Team Manja. Well, Team Manja did great. So we'll see how it we'll see how it goes for her. But anyway, yeah. Enjoy football. Good luck to those Giants today at 1, my friend.
Yes. Let's go. Let's go Giants. Let's get a win today, guys. Come on. Let's go. Jets got their win. Let's go. We'll keep the magic going, the New York Magic.
It's time for New York to step up today. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Enjoy your Sunday. Make sure you check your lineups. Let's get those trades in. Have a great day. Enjoy it. It's beautiful outside here in New Jersey. It's a great day today. So enjoy it, guys. And we will see you next week right here on the Touchdown Talk. Cheers.